As your Prime Minister, I promise you, I will deport every illegal immigrant in Canada.
Welcome back to MeetTheLiberals.com, where we at Rebel News pull back the curtain on the Liberal Party's so-called leaders vying to replace Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the helm of the party and thus become a very, very short-lived Prime Minister of this beautiful country. Today, we're taking a closer look at Ruby Dhalla, a Winnipeg-born chiropractor, actress, activist, model, and politician with a glittering public image that hides a past riddled with scandal and hypocrisy. She's now attempting to replace Justin Trudeau, but her record shows she's not all that different. In fact, she's a Liberal cut from the same cloth, though she calls herself an outsider. Let's start with some context. Ruby Dhalla burst onto the political scene in 2004, elected as the Liberal MP for the riding of Brampton-Springdale. At the time, she was celebrated as a rising star, one of the first Sikh women elected to the Canadian Parliament, along with Conservative MP Nina Grewal. Ruby Dhalla's election was marketed as a triumph of diversity and inclusion, a sign of progress for Canada. But as we've come to learn, Dhalla's career has been marked more by controversy than accomplishment, and she ultimately lost her seat to Conservative Parm Gill in 2011, and she faded away from the political scene. Let's roll back in time, though. Let's go to the nanny scandal. In 2009, Dhalla was accused by two foreign caregivers of mistreatment, claiming they were forced to work 12 to 16-hour days for a paltry $250 a week. These women, foreign nationals, claimed they were also made to clean Dhalla's family businesses and that they had their passports confiscated, what would be a clear violation of Canadian law. To be clear, the Dhalla family did not obtain the necessary federal approval under the live-in caregiver program for the women to live and work in their home. To be clear, Dhalla denied direct involvement and provided receipts to counter the allegations, but the scandal was enough to force her resignation as the Liberal youth and multiculturalism critic. And then there's the Bollywood film controversy. Before her political career, Dhalla dabbled in acting, starring in a Bollywood-inspired movie filmed in Hamilton. When the film's producers released the DVD, Dhalla tried to block its distribution, claiming the promotional materials had doctored her images. Hang on to that for a second. True or not, this attempt to censor a movie fits right into the Liberal playbook of controlling narratives and silencing anything inconvenient. Canadians who are already exhausted with Justin Trudeau's censorship policies should be very wary of what a Ruby Dhalla-led Liberal Party would look like.
And, you know, if people Google Ruby Dhalla, some of the first things that come up to remind is, I'm resigning as critic to clear my name because you were accused of, you know, mistreating nannies and not paying them enough and using them to do work in your business beyond the scope of what they were hired for. So how do you explain that to the current generation of Liberals when they see these stories from the past?
You know, to the current generation, of Liberals and those, that have been asking, I was the victim of a Conservative drive-by smear campaign, and I'm not going to get into all of the details, but that smear campaign will not be tolerated. When I was first elected, I had the honor of being one of the first women of Indian origin elected as a member of Parliament, not only here in Canada, but the entire Western world. And the way that women, the challenges that they faced in the political process, I think that the environment has definitely changed. I'm a lot stronger, I'm a lot wiser, and I've gained a tremendous amount of experience where those drive-by smears will no longer be tolerated and no longer be accepted.
And speaking of controlling images or altering them, let's talk about those airbrushed campaign photos. Dhalla's promotional materials are so heavily filtered and enhanced that social media users, including myself, have dubbed them catfish level editing. In fact, I thought they were AI when I first saw them. While these glossy posters might look impressive, Canadians know the truth when they see Ruby on TV. And the disconnect? is insulting. It's yet another example of a politician trying to manipulate perception rather than offering real solutions. Like Trudeau, Dhalla seems obsessed with vanity and optics over substance. Dhalla once championed pro-immigration policies. She presented herself as a feminist trailblazer, positions she proudly touted during her time as a Liberal MP. Now, as she tries to appeal to disillusioned Liberal voters, she's suddenly critical of the very immigration policies she once supported.
There are over 500,000 illegal immigrants in Canada. This is unacceptable. As the daughter of immigrant parents, I know firsthand that immigrants have helped build our great country. But we must clamp down on human trafficking and those that are here illegally. As your Prime Minister, I promise you, I will deport every illegal immigrant in Canada. Canada's comeback starts now.
Canadians see through this kind of opportunism. Leadership isn't about pandering to the moment. It's about taking principled stands and then sticking to them. So what's the real story behind Ruby Dhalla? From her nanny mistreatment scandal to her censorship attempts, from her airbrushed vanity campaign to her political flip-flopping, it's clear she's not the fresh start Canada needs. Dhalla's record tells us she's more focused on managing her image than on leading with integrity. In many ways, she's a carbon copy of Justin Trudeau, right down to the obsession with personal branding. So when you hear Ruby Dhalla claim she's the future of the Liberal Party, remember her past. Leadership isn't about airbrush posters or carefully curated narratives. It's about authenticity, accountability, and action. And based on her track record, Dhalla falls short on all counts. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Go to meettheliberals.com. That's your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about the people vying to replace Justin Trudeau and head our country up for a very short time before these Liberals are thrown out in the next election. That's meettheliberals.com.